Well, first off, Tyron, it's a little bit bittersweet. I mean, we are in St. Louis, so you're not getting to compete. I don't know that you'd be fighting on a Fight Night event, but still, would it have been fun to fight here?
You know, towards the end of my career, possibly. You know, fighting at home, you got a lot of ticket requests, long-lost cousins that are going to come out of the woodwork, a lot of pressure to go out there and perform for your city. I actually enjoy fighting in Las Vegas. It's my favorite place to fight. I'm happy to be here, enjoy it. More importantly, that St. Louis is great combat sports city, great sports city in general. For the UFC to touch down here is big for me, for my city. I've been wanting this to happen for a very, very long time, so I'm excited about that. So, no, I'm not really I didn't really have much desire to fight in St. Louis, and like you said, I have to fight on pay-per-views. It makes the most sense money-wise for me to do that.
No doubt. Well, give us the update on the shoulder, man. How are things?
Man, 3 weeks out. I'm a little prematurely out the sling. I'm supposed to be in there Tuesday, but it didn't quite match my outfit, so I left the sling in the car. I feel awesome, man. I went to the best surgeon, Dr. Andrews out in Pensacola, did a phenomenal job. His staff was amazing, great VIP treatment. Also had stem cell and PRP done as well. I'll go back in another 2 weeks to get it done again, and I'll go back in another 6 weeks to get it done again. He told me I need you punching somebody in the face in 2 months, and I've never heard a doctor say that before, so I'm excited about it. Right now I just feel really confident in my recovery, and I'm actually going to get both shoulders stem cell put in, so when I come back, I got some double hammers.
Very nice. Yeah. So what does that mean time-wise as far as when you'll be able to actually compete?
You know, I'll be actually competing the first quarter. I've always said that, but I don't really see a fight that makes sense for me to fight right now. It's not any clear number one guys. Some guys can say RDA. We got a guy that's bumping his gums. I won't even give his name any attention. But outside of that, I think the deck needs to be shuffled a little bit more, and maybe a fight that's more substantial for my career, my legacy, will present itself, and obviously that's going to be the number one fight.
So you feel like maybe RDA and Colby Covington need to fight to
I'm not going to say they need to fight. I mean, fall back, take a seat. You know, I'm not going nowhere. I'm here for a while. I'm not on a cusp of giving this up. So one by one, everybody get their chance to see what it's all about. But I really want to fight George St. Pierre, and you know, that's my number one fight. You can't be the welterweight champion and be the GOAT. Right now, he's the greatest welterweight of all time. I can't claim that yet. And you know, until I beat him, you know, he's the number one welterweight that's ever fought in the octagon, and that's for my legacy. People can call it a money fight, you can call it a super fight, you can call it whatever the hell you want to, but if he's still fighting, he needs to come and see me. So that's my number one fight.
What if it doesn't come back that early?
Then he's forfeited that status. Then I'll become the GOAT, and I'll take out all these young up and coming whippersnappers. You got Usman, you got Till, you got such and such, you got RDA. You got a lot of guys out there that are giving a lot of excitement to the sport. And I really feel like the welterweight division is the deepest division. It's action packed. It always got new prospects trying to emerge. And once the deck shuffle, I think somebody clearly emerged as the number one guy, and that's why I've been there with. I'm the only champion that's fighting number one contenders. I don't know if you guys noticed that recently. I fought 4 world title fights in 12 years. I mean, not 12 years. That'd be a long ass time. 4 in 12 months. But you know, outside of maybe 1 or 2 guys, I'm the only guy that's fighting the clear-cut number one contender. So.
Does the fight with GSP have to be a welterweight, or could it be catching just for
care.
the legacy to defeat him?
I'll fight him anyway. You know, we don't have to fight at welterweight. We can fight at 185, 180. We can do a catch weight. I don't think George particularly wants to go and defend another belt. So many young guys. You know, he left the sport not only because, you know, he needed some time to himself, but he also mentioned some concussions. And you look at all the guys that are high-level wrestlers that can stop shots. A guy like me, it's going to be very difficult to take down. I mean, I ain't the stat guy, but I believe I probably got the highest takedown defense in the UFC right now, maybe just in the history of the sport. It's going to be very hard to take me down, not just because of that, also because I studied George for so many years, and I know his style so well. It's going to be nearly impossible for him to hit me on the canvas. Then he got to deal with power, and he's had problems with that against Johnny, against some other guys, and it was really a problem for his game plan. So.
You mentioned the rankings and shifting into analyst mode. Is it almost time, or at least for a temporary time, UFC should abandon the rankings, because a lot of the champs aren't fighting by the rankings. It's about the money fight, not about fighting the number 1 or the number 2 ranked guy.
You know, it depends on who it is. It's a situation-based usage of the ranking. And I think the ranking is a good thing where you can kind of see, oh, this guy fought this guy, he didn't fight that guy, he's ranked this. But that's not the rubric anymore. They're not really going by that. So at times it's convenient, you know. Usually when it's me, it's convenient to utilize the rankings, but when it's not me, guys can utilize a super fight or a fight that, you know, fans want to see or that's going to sell a lot of pay-per-view. So I just want to fight the fights that are going to cement my legacy. You know, I've been blessed that the way I train, the way I think about fighting, I've thought about being in this position long before I got here. So there's no new guys that are faster than me, stronger than me, more skilled than me. So even though these guys are coming up, I still have 2 or 3 things I do better than they do. So I'll be able to be champion for a very long time.
You and RDA were exchanging some words on.
Oh my God, I like RDA, but just leave the crap talking to somebody that does it for a living. I told RDA, I said, you don't have to do anything else. You just beat Robbie Lawler, former champion. Just sit back and relax. You know, you don't have to fight another fight. You don't have to, you know, go and try to talk stuff. Leave that up to people that are like him, that are former champions, that have done a deal, that have ran through some top guys. You know, it's no use for you even to talk trash. Like, at the end of the day, he's not in control, and I'm really not in control. You know, when it comes down to it, we all know who's in control of what fight happens. So
there were some rumors about you coaching tough.
All rumors, never been offered it, never talked about me. Definitely not coaching with that buffoon.
Is there not any part of you that wants to fight Covington just to silence him? I mean, with all the trash talk.
I've silenced him his entire life, you know. I got a whole phone full of text messages. I'm his big brother, his mentor, and, you know, he just decided to take the WWE route because he thought that was going to, you know, catapult him. But if you realize, he started off at 8,000 followers. He started off, you know, very, you know, lowly ranked, and he had only fought on, Fox or FS1 the first time, his last fight. Outside of that, he was a Fight Pass phenom. So he came in at a great time when the sport was quiet. You know, Conor McGregor's out doing something different. John Jones out for a while. Ronda Rousey's not there. You know, and he came in at a time when people were like, you know what, there's nothing else going on. F it. Let's just listen to this kid. Even though we know it's ridiculous, even though we know he's jumping off the rope and he's really not DDTing this guy, you know, we're going to just fall for it. But, you know, I don't want to discredit him, and I don't really need to because my resume pretty much speaks for it. But outside of Damian Maia, really, who has he beat? That's his only top 10 victory ever. And Damian Maia is a guy that's already fought an 85 title, already fought a welterweight title, getting up there in age. What is his real motivation? I mean, I didn't even understand why he was still fighting at that point. So for him to go out there and fight him, he had a good performance. He did kind of get bloodied up by the jiu-jitsu guy, which kind of surprised me. But, you know, I just don't want to give him a lot of attention, a lot of talk. If that's what he wants, I told him, I said, if that's what you want to do, brother, if that's what you feel like you need to do, I gave you your one plug on Fox. After that, I'm not gonna talk and address it. So.
What did you think of RJ last performance, though?
You know, it was okay performance. A lot of people are raving about it, but you know, in the welterweight division, when you start thinking about the punching power, imagine if I had, you know, Robbie Lawler against Octagon like that. He's going down. Everybody that I put in a position, even Stephen Thompson and Carlos Condit, the toughest 2 dudes I never fought, that hit so hard, dropped them so many times, and it still was ticking. If it was me and he's against that cage like that, the fight's over with. So.
They had 2 fights in this card that were canceled because of weight problems,
yeah.
You know, the weight cut. What can you tell us about it? You know, what do you think that should be done to make this less and less possible?
I mean, you're talking about something that's going to take 5 to 10 years. You know, in wrestling, which is where the weight cutting really started. In boxing, they really don't cut weight. They fight close to their weight. In wrestling, it's always a mentality. I was just at a wrestling meet all day today from 7 a.m. to 4:30, and people just think that if I get lower, the lower I get, the better I'm going to compete against. But if everybody say, hey, how much you weigh? You weigh 190? I weigh 190. Let's fight at 190. You're going to alleviate the weight cut. You can fight closer to your weight. You can feel good, feel healthy, and you'll just get rid of one part of the sport that doesn't have to be there. Now, everybody, you have to get 75 to 85% of the people on the same page. What's going to happen is you're going to get 50% of the people on the same page, and the other 50 are like, no, I'm going to be the bully. They're going to do all this, you know, fighting close to their weight, and I'm going to go out there and bully them and be a heavier person. So I don't think it's, you know, anything that we're going to see anytime soon. Like, I walk around 200, 205, and I cut down to 170. It's also discipline. It's mindset. It's also knowing your body. And I don't have an easy time making weight. It's been some times where, you know, I fought Wonder Boy in New York. It was cold. I couldn't find no workout rooms. I had to do so much media because it was UFC 205. And by the time it was time to work out, 11 o'clock at night, I didn't have a lot of energy. And, you know, it was very hard making weight. My coach was looking around like, is he going to make weight? So, long-winded way of answering your question. It's no easy solution. It'll be 5 to 10 years before we see something change.
Where was the wrestling meet you were at today?
I was actually in Lindbergh High School. It was a district championship, so I got 3 boys that's wrestling. 2 of them wrestled today. One of them got a boot on his foot. So, you know, my son, I just found out my son, my 14-year-old, is 192 pounds.
New training
I said, how
partner.
much you weigh? No, I wrestled with him. I had to really wrestle his ass because he's like heavy. His legs are big. I know I got big legs, but my 14-year-old legs and butt is bigger than mine. His upper body is like a teenager, but his legs are like a grown man. So 14 years old, about my height, 192, running back, you know, undefeated. He hasn't lost in the last 2 years in wrestling, so he's going to be a specimen.
Go ahead.
What can you tell us about the ARP machine for your shoulder? And then where did you first hear about that? Is what you purchased?
How do you know about the ARP machine?
Jeff Powell.
Oh, you know Jeff Powell?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my guy. Well, that's where I first heard about it. I've been getting ARP since 2007. No, actually 2006. ARP machine is called Advanced Recovery Program, and it's a machine it's a Russian stem machine, and at its highest setting, it has the ability to contract your muscles 500 times a second. So that tells you that shit hurts real bad. And when you get to that setting, it has the ability to break through scar tissue, soft tissue, and increase blood flow and range of motion. I bought a machine. At the time when I was with Jeff Powell, the guy I first started fighting with, he used to ARP my hand, my foot. So imagine a sprained ankle. How long is it, 3 or 4 weeks before you can train? Imagine one day. So I sprained an ankle, and I do like 10 treatments, and the next day I'm back in the gym. I went out to Portland, Oregon, to train with Team Quest. Shout out to Robert. You know, I know he passed away. I did a lot of training with him in the beginning of my career, and I had a torn labrum. I tore my left labrum. And I went out there, and I was like an audition for IFL, and I did ungodly amount of sessions on the ARP. And I went out there and I was sparring Ellenberger, Nate Coy, Chris Wilson, Dolce when he was fighting, and I lasted 10 days without my shoulder slipping out. So it's an amazing machine. It's going to be my secret weapon, but he kind of gave it up. It's my secret weapon to getting back fast. Currently, I had the stem cell put in, so until the stem cell decide what they want to be, I can't be boosting the ARP because it's going to move it around and make it move around. So I got 2 weeks before I can utilize my ARP machine.
So you're at the wrestling meet today.
Yeah.
You're still involved in the community. We talked before, like here, St. Louis still loves you. You've never left. You've stayed grounded. But outside of St. Louis, sometimes Ty Woodley's the heel.
Yeah.
What's it like for you to be here, enjoy the fights, UFC in the house, where you beat Robbie the first time with your people?
You know, I didn't beat him here, but I did beat him in the wrestling room at his gym 15 minutes away at the Hit Squad. No, that was Jake. That was Jake Shields. Oh, but I'll take the credit. I'll take the win if you want to give me. I can be 19-3. That's what you want to give me. But yeah, you know, it feels great. You know, it's just great to walk in the building. And I don't do it for the fame. I don't do it for the glory. I really do it to be legendary. And sometimes a fighter doesn't get the credit that they deserve, and they don't get people don't see what you're doing until after you retire. And I'm okay with, you know, when I'm long gone and people can really go back. I think some of my fights are going to be actually studied, and some coaches are going to be like, oh, I see what he was doing there. Oh my God, now it makes sense. But at this current moment of our sport, what's a good fight to you? A good fight, I punch you in the damn face, you punch me in the face. I draw blood on you, you draw blood on me. You look like you're about to die? Oh, you wake up from the dead. Now I look like I'm about to die. We hug out at the end, and that's a great fight. So I'm just not going to be in those fights. I'm going to dominate. I'm either going to knock you out, I'm going to take all your tools away, I'm going to leave you naked, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to employ my game plan on you. And sometimes it's a KO, sometimes it's a finish. Sometimes guys are just very tough. I'm fighting the #1 guys, and these guys aren't going to be easily taken out. These guys are on 7-fight win streaks. So I'm unapologetic for my performances. People got a short-term memory, but I got 11 finishes out of 18 fights, and then 9 of those in the first round. So when you do your math, I'm a finisher.
How'd your time at Mizzou help you to be a successful UFC fighter?
We had a theme called the Tiger Style mentality, and that means that our coach had to recruit not the top tier guys because, you know, we weren't established at that point. We actually was the laughingstock of the Big 12. We were losing NAIA teams, Division II teams, and he said, you know what? We don't have the best talent, but we're going to work everybody out. We're going to outwork everybody. We're going to outcondition everybody. We're going to outtrain everybody. We're going to do what it takes. We're going to have a grinding style of wrestling that no matter what these guys are, what they were ranked coming out of high school, that we would be successful. And we bought into the system. We bought into the program. And with that mentality, we went out there with a chip on our shoulder. And one key thing we had, every day we walked in, every day we walked out, was a big sign that said expect to win. So if we beat somebody from Oklahoma, Iowa State, and we won a match that gave us All-American status, we didn't jump around like it was some surprise or some fluke. We expect to win. So I take that same mentality into the octagon. I don't walk out there. If I lose or if they think it's close, I'm surprised. I wasn't surprised I knocked out knocked out Robbie Lawler. I wasn't surprised I was dominating Carlos Condit. I wasn't surprised that I knocked out Cachet. Those things came from preparation, great coaching, mentality, and just years and years of watching film, studying tapes, and really respecting their opponents.
Champ, from being from St. Louis and being from Ferguson, with all the things that have been going on in Ferguson, how do you feel, you said you were at Limburg at the wrestling meeting. How do you feel being a role model for those young African-American kids growing up in that wrestling and seeing you as a world champion? How does that make you feel as a role model?
I just want to be a real model. I want people to know I make mistakes as well. I want them to know that I haven't always done the right things, but sometimes doing the wrong things and making mistakes teach you those life lessons that you can make those younger guys not have to do. You don't have to do what I did because now you have someone that can tell you, hey, man, don't take that road. Don't be in the gang. Don't, act up in class. Like, I used to get suspended almost every week in middle school, and then a light switch and say, you know what? This dude's going to jail. This dude's probably going to get killed. I don't want to do either one of those things. So I just, switched my lifestyle and I changed that. So everybody's not fortunate enough to have the opportunity and make that switch. So I'm just blessed to be where I'm at. I'm blessed to, be working, doing well. I mean, I got my hands in so many different things. I'm starting a production company. We're going to be shooting our short film in 2018. I just did stand-up comedy right before Marlon Wayans, and, just to get a lot of props from him was freaking unreal. I did a rap cipher the other day. I'm really stretching myself and to do something different. So fighting is not the only thing I do. I got acting coaching every week in LA. I'm in LA doing TMZ, UFC on Fox, and then I'm splitting half the time here, half the time there. While this window's open, man, I'm going to just run through as many of them as possible.
I kind of see a lot of your funny side on all your television shows and whatnot. How do you separate that from your fight life or when you get in the ring?
If I do that on Fox, I'm going to get fired. So I got to have a Fox filter, and I can TMZ. I can kind of be a little bit more loose. I got my own series, The Champ Life, Champ Camp, and also Cooking with the Champ. On those things, I can actually be myself, and it's your version of what Tyron is like. The inside on that. I know where I'm at when I'm filming, so I know which filter to use, and that's how I keep it separate.
So, how would you describe your style of comedy? I mean, is it one-liners, mixing impressions? How do you? People see you as the champ. How do you become funny?
I think the my line of comedy is that I got a lot of funny stories. When you come in from a house of 13, you didn't have a lot of money to go to the store, the movies, bowling, all that other stuff. So you had to entertain yourself. So it's a lot of entertainment taking place in the house. So that comes with a lot of stories. Also, some impersonations. Obviously, you got some old aunties and grandmas that said a lot of funny shit when I was younger, and that gave me some material. And just being quick also helps. And it's just something I never thought I was gonna be a comedian. And I'm not saying I am a comedian, but I got way more claps than I got quietness. And I didn't get any boos.
Thanks, guys.
All right, cool. Appreciate you guys.